Welcome to episode 3 of Unlucky Leftovers. I'm here with Chow again.
Amazing.
We're going to see today's episode. We're going to talk about anime because, believe it or not, this was supposed to be an anime podcast.
Was
Well,
it?
sort
Oh,
of.
man.
Sort of. It was sort of supposed to be
I guess so.
about
Yeah.
anime.
True.
So, we're going to be talking about some anime that we're watching, some anime that we watched, maybe some anime we want to watch,
hmm
and our thoughts about those anime. So, go ahead. You want to kick it off? You want to say something?
Yeah. Why don't I kick it off with what I watched last season? Because there's two animes that I completed and I find memorable of last season, right? Uh, which are Mob Psycho 100. Okay,
Mhm.
season 3. That was just so you know, fantastic.
Yeah.
I man, it's over now, right? It's the third season, it's the final
Oh, that
season,
was the last
right?
one. I still gotta.
That was that.
I
That
need to
was it.
watch it. I still gotta watch it.
Honestly, fantastic. I adore the series. I definitely think it's like a 10 out of 10 for me.
Okay. Wow.
But it just feels so
Are you
what is it?
sad? You have your.
Genuine. It feels so genuine, you know. Uh, am I sad?
You got a
No, I think
crisis.
it had a proper ending, you
A
know.
real ending.
It resolved a lot of stuff that it brought up, you know.
Okay.
That type of stuff, right? So, I think it was just so proper. It was done well. I I have moments of like, oh my god, we're getting to that climax and we hit it and we're like, oh
Yeah.
geez, it's happening. Oh man, the opening music's just playing on this like climax. You know that type of stuff. It's fantastic. It's fantastic, right? And yeah, like the characters struggle. Mob, right? It's just it meets a great resolution.
Uh huh.
And I think it's definitely a really good ending for this character. Yeah, and I appreciate that all the other side characters weren't just kind of thrown away. You know, we have uh, uh, their kind of epilogues too. You know, that type of stuff. So it's great. I I think it's definitely up there in my top 5
Wow. Top
series because
five.
yeah, because it's just I don't know the way the studio did it is just so perfect. I was just like, all right, dude. But
Mhm.
anyways, Mob Psycho is great, fantastic. Do recommend, definitely recommend.
10 out of 10
uh,
recommend.
10 out of 10 recommend. Uh, the other series was Gundam Witch from Mercury,
Which?
which
Okay.
yeah. So it's a Gundam series about a female protagonist, which I think is a new one for the Gundam
Probably.
franchise.
Probably.
Yeah. So she honestly it was man, I have mixed feelings about it because first of all, there's episode 0, right, which is like this little prologue episode, which
Yeah.
was like, oh my god, that had me a little like, oh shit, this is like intense as hell. Because
Mhm.
it was sad. It was super sad.
Just from the
For like
zero. From zero.
yeah, from the prologue episode, I was like, this I'm gonna like cry here because it's like it's like Jesus, like why do they have to like get massacred like this? You
Oh
know, it's
man.
crazy. It's crazy. It's crazy. But after that though, episode 1 up to episode 12, right? It I don't know. I would it has a lot of modern tropes of anime, like in general, right? Which I'm like, okay, why not? We're at school, she's fighting these people, right?
Mhm.
There's a conspiracy, yada yada. It does have that Gundam like conspiracy going on too, right? But I I don't know. I think the main character, Soletta, she's okay. You know, she's okay. That's it. That's it for me. You know, like I
She's
just,
just yeah.
you know, it's confusing with her though, because at the end of the season, it kind of reveals like some personality traits that I just don't understand. And obviously, this is like the mystery of the whole thing that we'll probably see in the coming seasons.
Uh-huh.
But it's just like, oh, okay, so she's not actually, or she is this way, but not really. It's very confusing. I'm like, okay, but it was really interesting episode, the final episode of the season. Yeah, very like, okay, so this is more than what meets the eye type of stuff, right? Um, it very traumatizing too, because I just I didn't know what was going on. I was like, why is she like okay with this? But yeah, no spoilers. It's just it was wild. It was wild at the end of the season. It's just during the full season though, it was basically kind of almost like a generic mech school anime almost.
So there's gonna be a second season.
Oh, for sure, for sure. There's no way they can end it like that, because it's like
Oh, I feel
it
like
was weird. And like, what is this? What's supposed to be going on here? But yeah, go ahead.
yeah. I feel like they could just it's I don't know, it feels weird to me that there's so many Gundam anime.
Mhm,
They could just make a
mhm.
Gundam anime in any kind of premise that they want.
Oh yeah,
I feel like it doesn't even need to follow like it's just Gundam. There's so many different aren't there so many different Gundam like timelines or something?
yeah, yeah. So I mean, okay, so this will be a tangent to another Gundam series that I fully enjoy. Gundam Double Zero, which had a first season, a second season, and a movie.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's not like, I think sometimes their story can be big enough for that, right? Uh, so I think it's also the freedom of writing to um not be so condensed into just like 12 episodes, right? Um, but I guess it also depends on the story itself and if that's needed or not for the story. Um, I just think that it, even though it seems like it's not needed if you see the whole scope of the Gundam series, I think if it's gonna be longer than 12 episodes, it's because the story needs it, or at least it should. That's
Yeah.
that's it. I don't know. Uh, Gundam Double Zero though was great, and I think it at least needed a season and a half and its movie to be like complete.
Yeah.
Season two did feel a little draggy somewhere here and there, but I think it was pretty complete in my opinion.
Yeah. I don't know. It just feels like there's too many Gundams.
Yeah, there is.
There's way too many Gundams.
I would agree, but at the same time, that is just the franchise itself. It seems to makes a lot of money from its merchandise, and how can they uh create more interest in their merchandise, right? With their anime, right? Uh, producing more and more Gundams, right? But make it so that they're all different kind of styles and designs from these different series. So yeah, that's at least my point of view from their like as a business perspective, is like if they want to introduce newer Gundams of different styles, you know
Yeah,
they
they're
need
gonna
to
have to make
introduce
new
like
ones.
new series and new um just new things in general, right? Because I like if you compare Iron Blooded Orphans to like all like other Gundams, they have like a very like weird style. It's well, not weird style, but more like
It doesn't look like normal Gundam.
oh, it does not. No, yeah, and like especially like the waist and stuff. Like it's
Yeah,
like
really slim.
yeah, it's got like I don't know. It's just much different. Um, more spiky sometimes too. um, but yeah. So there's that. Would I recommend Witch of Mercury? Yeah, yeah. I don't know where it's going. That's the problem. You know, I don't
Yeah.
know if it's gonna be really great or really kind of because watching the first season it was but then like when it like hit to its climax I'm like oh okay all right what you want to do here you gonna
I mean, is the
just
action good?
fucking
As long as the action's good.
I think the action's decent. It's just kind
If there's
of
too much drama, like,
mm, mm,
and there's not enough action in a Gundam anime, it's like, what are you doing?
yeah. I think the only problem is like probably one part of it that I most like I like remember the most. That's not the problem. Like the problem is like that was the only action scene that I remember the most, right?
Oh,
The other
okay.
action scenes were like okay, but the main action scene was like, oh, that's cool. That's cool because it was just like it was a team effort and the final shot was cool. I was like, oh wow, good job, guy.
Yeah.
It was good. It was good. Yeah. The other action scenes were okay. It's just the general like, oh, her Gundam's actually like really strong and powerful or whatever, and like, oh, she's fucking wrecking us. How is she doing that? You can't do that. That type of shit, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, but it is what it is. Um, so that was what I watched like last season, or like the most memorable ones of last season for me. I didn't watch a lot from last season, so uh, is what it is. Did you watch anything from last season?
I don't even think. Maybe it's from. I haven't kept up with last season, so honestly, I don't
Mm-hmm.
really remember last
Mm,
season's anime,
mm.
like what's on the list. What was it? Like
Sure,
winter
sure.
2022?
I think that's current or
No, fall 2022 was the last one.
fall 2022. Yeah, fall
Okay,
2022.
so there's okay. So I'm looking at the list right now. There's stuff like Chainsaw Man, Spy Family 2,
Oh yeah, see, I didn't
Blue
even watch
Lock.
those yet, so I'm just like,
Okay. I'm surprised you didn't watch Chainsaw Man because I thought you read
uh,
it, right?
I actually, so yeah, I did read it. Wait, and it's really interesting because the writer is such like an absurdist.
Yeah.
um, his previous work, Fire Punch, is what I remember a lot too, and it was so absurd because it's like
Oh
some
man.
guy who dies with his sister, but then revives as a zombie, but he's burning alive, so he has a fire punch.
Yeah.
It's just such ridiculousness. I was like, oh my god. But yeah, the writer seems very absurdist, existentialist type person.
Oh
Um,
yeah.
but yeah, I haven't watched Chainsaw Man just yet. I thought I was gonna try to watch it with a buddy of mine. Well, uh, yeah, but I don't know if he's gonna watch it or not. So we'll see. We'll
Oh
see
my
what
god.
happens with that.
I'm still looking at the list, and
Yeah.
apparently the Yowamushi pedal is still going.
Yeah, dude.
October 2022, they came out with another season. Oh my god.
I mean, I don't think the manga's over yet, right?
It's not over yet.
I guess not, right?
Cause
I-
I was trying to catch up. I was on the middle of season 3,
mhm.
even though I watched season 3. I don't know how far I got, but like even getting to the middle of season 3, I just kind of stopped to watch other stuff.
Right. Yeah, let's see. I don't remember where I stopped either. So I definitely haven't watched the recent seasons. I just know that After the senpais kind of leave, it becomes a little different, like
Yeah,
a
this new
little.
roster,
Yeah,
slightly
it's a
new
new
roster.
roster. It does feel a little different. I don't know. It's hard to say if I vibe with it or not, but I would definitely say it's different, and I think it's still okay.
Yeah,
But
I'm sure it's still okay, but
yeah,
I think
yeah,
it might just drag on. Like it can get a little
yeah,
draggy,
yeah,
especially like the first half of the season when
yeah.
they're kind of just training.
Right, right. I think that might be a bane for a lot of like sports anime,
Yeah.
because was Ace of Diamond, if you ever saw that. That was really good in the beginning, but then it felt really dragged on like later on, and I was like,
Oh, I see.
I yeah, I didn't like finish it, which is unfortunate. But I plan on finishing it sometime later in the future. It's just at the time I was like in the mid 30s or 40s, and I was like, hmm, we're kind of not anywhere
Not
yet.
anywhere. Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, I think that happens with some sports anime sometimes.
Yeah.
Like Kuroko no Basket had like several episodes of like uh you know like games just dragging on, right? Because they
Yeah.
have to you know fill in. Um, but yeah, stuff like that happens, which is unfortunate. Um,
Mhm.
but yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I watched Spy Family 2.
Oh, you did? Okay.
Yeah. I mean, if you
How
like
was that?
Spy Family 1, it's fine. If you the second one's like just more. It's just more of
It's
it.
more of the same.
It's
Yeah.
more of the
Yeah.
same. If you like
Yeah.
it, little chill anime to watch. It was
Yeah.
fine.
Yeah. I think
Um
it's very overrated for what it is, but um, it is a casual like slice of life type of thing with like a fantasy element. Um,
yeah. I
just really good art
also
and stuff.
yeah, I also watched Blue Lock, but I didn't finish it.
Blue Lock. Which one is
Yeah,
that?
so Blue Locks is the soccer anime.
Oh, wasn't there like two different
I
soccer
think
animes
yeah,
that
I
have like
think
the same like similar name?
I don't know what the other one
Uh,
was. I don't know if it came out the same season.
yeah, I don't think it came out the same season, but I know it's at least
Maybe the previous season.
like within a year. Like one was Blue Lock and the other was like Blue something.
Yeah, I mean, I think the other one you're talking about, I don't remember
Yeah.
which. That I think that one was more of a traditional shonen
Okay. Okay.
sports anime, but Blue Lock is kind of more like elimination game.
Elimination game, like a survival game.
Yeah, it's kind of like survival game, but with soccer, right?
What the
Because
fuck?
the whole thing is like everyone's trying to be the best,
Okay.
so they all go into a facility to be like the best striker, and then
Oh.
within the facility, like you have to show off your skills certain way, like so you don't get eliminated in like soccer games or challenges.
Mm,
So it's not like, oh, we'll train and we'll go to inter high and then we'll go national. Like
mm.
the first episode starts off with like one of the main characters. He his team doesn't make it to nationals, I think.
Right.
And
Right.
that's because he like hesitated. He's like, "Oh, should I make the last shot or should I pass it?" And then he ends up
Oh.
passing it.
Oh, unfortunate.
And then his teammate misses the shot. And then
Yeah.
he's like, "Man, if I just took the shot, I probably would have got it."
The mistakes.
Yeah, but yeah, it's a pretty good anime. I should go finish it. I think there's only a few episodes. Well, I mean, it says there's like 24. I think there's
Right.
24, but I don't know. I have
Mhm.
to go double check.
Yeah. Okay. So the other anime that I was thinking of, which was also soccer, I think, is Aoashi, which I don't know if that translates anything. Honestly, I thought it translated to blue something, but maybe it's just that. Yeah.
No, it probably translates to blue something.
Aoashi.
Yeah, blue
And then
feet.
Blue Feet. Wow. See, okay, so yeah, they were both soccer anime with
Blue
blue in the
feet.
name, and they released in 2022. kind of funny actually.
Yeah.
um, it has a good rating on my anime list though. So
Yeah,
do
I
they have
think that's
similar
just
ratings? Oh wow, they
uh
have similar ratings.
I don't know. I haven't watched it. I feel like if this
Yeah.
one is more like a normal shonen,
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
I think Blue Lock is probably better because it does some very different stuff that's pretty interesting.
Okay. Okay. So the content is just different in
Yeah, it's
general.
just different. It's like
Yeah.
more it goes by quicker cuz
Mm.
technically everyone who's in the Blue Lock is like competing against each other, right? But
Ah.
then you have to have teams because it's soccer. So there's some
Right.
people who team up, and then sometimes like
They
down the
sabotage each
line,
other or something. Yeah.
yeah, something like
Or
that. Or you have to like
yeah.
face against your old teammates, right?
Oh. So they keep on fighting. Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
So even though
Gotcha.
you're like working together, you're gonna
Mm.
eventually have to eliminate everyone except one other person
Right.
who's gonna be like the number one guy.
Mhm. Mhm. Okay. That makes sense.
And then
Um.
yeah, looking at the list too. I don't know if you remember Welcome to Demon School, Iruma-kun.
Oh yeah.
Season apparently they
I
came out with season 3.
Yeah, so I haven't caught up. I remember it being enjoyable for what it was because it was just so kind of like it's comedy based. It's the comedy like it's just straight up like a comedy based series, right? Um, but it had heart in a sense, right? It just kind of you know um it was just nice to watch. I do hear that Iruma like has like a lot of like he becomes like really strong in a sense, right? Because he's supposed to become like the biggest demon king around or something. So yeah, it is surprising that it continues with a season 3, but given that it has a decent popularity, like
Yeah.
like people like it, so that's the thing, right?
Yeah.
It has a decent following, so I think that's why it continues. That's why
Yeah.
they keep adapting it. So
I like season 1 and 2. I
mhm.
think it is good that if in season 3 they actually like develop the story.
Oh yeah,
Because season 1 and 2 is just like, a school anime,
right.
just
It's a
basic
school
school
anime,
anime.
right? And then Uruma is just trying to like survive, but like not even survive. Honestly, he's just I don't know. He's just kind of like
Yeah.
hanging.
They're just
He's
hanging
hanging with
out.
his buds.
They're just
You
hanging
know,
out.
he's just hanging out. Okay, yeah. So I'll catch up with that sometime. We'll see. Um, anything you watching this season, dog?
This season. Now I gotta check this season.
All right. Well, since you're checking that, I got my this season anime
Okay.
listed here. So okay, mostly I've been watching Isekai because there's a ton of them this season. I don't know what's going on with that. And there are a lot that I actually read
Mhm.
before, a long time ago. Uh, so rewatching them, I'm like, oh yeah, this is cool. I wish they had. I don't know. I feel like some of them weren't adapted that well,
Yeah.
but it's fine. It's fine. I definitely have a type though, like a type for isekai, right? Like I'm not really super into the general like fantasy RPG type thing,
Yeah.
unless it's done like really really well, right? That which would be like something like Shield Hero or something like that. But otherwise, my type seems to be the isekais where uh they get reincarnated or like transported there and they start just kind of doing random shit and using like intelligence to like do their stuff. They're not really focused on gonna like go kill a demon king or anything. They're really just trying to develop their own like
Random shit.
creations and stuff like that. Yeah, develop technology and civilization and stuff like that. That type of stuff, right? Which is more interesting to me at this point.
Yeah.
So for example, well, not even on it's like it's really weird. Like campfire cooking in another world, right? That some weird ass like it doesn't make any sense. This guy gets reincarnated into a world with a bunch of other people. But because he's deemed to be useless since he doesn't have like any recognizable, his skill is like online net store or something. Like he can
Okay.
access like an Amazon type like grocery store too, like some bullshit like that, right? So what's really broken about his ability is like he can exchange the gold from the world he's in into yen for the stuff from that store.
And then it
Right?
just teleports to him.
It like they fucking just teleport like a box of stuff,
Yeah.
like a shipping box, like an Amazon box to him.
Yeah.
It just drops in front of his head, like feet, and it's just like, oh, okay. So he's obviously smarter than he looks, right? Because he doesn't try to stay in the kingdom. He knows he could tell, he could read that the king was a piece of shit or something, right? And is just taking advantage of like the heroes and whatever, and like trying to use them for his like own wars that are not necessary. So he like immediately tries to get out of the kingdom and tries to go into different countries and stuff like that, right? So he doesn't like, have to deal with that, right? But since he can buy whatever he wants from Japan, right? He buys like a lot of campfire, like cooking equipment and stuff like that, right? And a lot of ingredients that the people of this world don't know about, right? They're like, what is this sauce? Oh, this is like ginger scallion sauce. Oh my god, it's so sweet and savory, that type of stuff, right? So he ends up being contracted with like a super powerful monster because the monster really loves his fucking food.
Yeah.
And then he's just kind of traveling the world that way, right? Just chilling. He's literally just chilling in the world, trying to like make good dishes,
stuff. Yeah,
and sell things and make money, and that's it. That's all he's just chilling. He's not, nothing's happening, right? But I enjoy it because it's so it's so like niche. It's so stupidly niche.
So random niche.
Yeah. But yeah, so I do enjoy a lot of like animes like that. I've been watching like second season of By the Grace of the Gods, which also is like, well, it's just kind of weird. It's like a salaryman who dies but gets transported to another world as a child, and he like speaks to the gods a lot or something, and the gods just grant him like better statuses and abilities and stuff. But this guy's just researching like slimes and like how slimes grow and develop and evolve, and he makes a laundromat based off the slime technology.
Okay.
And I'm like, what is going on?
You just want a laundromat?
Yeah, because he basically has slimes that he was able to develop to clean and deodorize and to get rid of bacteria and stuff like that, like germs.
Wow.
So he like ends up just helping around because people have helped him, right? And like he's create like this hygienic the town's hygienic system or whatever, right? Cleans up the sewer, has people volunteering to clean that stuff up. Made a laundromat, doing like a lot of merchant type stuff, and it's like, oh, what the hell? And he's like a 10-year-old kid because
Yeah.
like a 35-year-old salaryman inside, right? It's weird. It's like I don't know. It's so strange. It's not, unfortunately not adapted that well. I think the animation's kind of cheap, but
Yeah.
it's kind of funny that way. Um, I'm also watching Handyman Saito in Another World. Just a fucking handyman, like a handyman contractor who like
Okay.
fixes things. He gets transported to another world and now is just part of this random party adventuring, and he's the rogue, right? He's just like picking locks pretty easily, right?
Yeah.
Using some wire cutters to disable traps and stuff. Like he's just like, oh, okay, I got it. He's just a very, very support type role. He's not like anything intense or anything, but it's he's just doing it. He's using his skills that were appreciated in his previous world in a world that appreciates them, which is also nice, right? What else am I watching? I'm watching Reincarnation of the Strongest Exorcist. I don't know. That's okay. That's fine. It's not
so many.
Yeah, there's a lot of isekai. I'm also
isekai today or this season.
I'm also watching Reborn to Master the Blade, The Magical Revolution of the Reincarnated Princess and the Genius Young Lady, Saving 80,000 gold in another world for my retirement. It's just like a lot of like random isekai. The non-isekai ones that are just more RPG like is like Ningen Fushin, which is I don't know. I don't exactly like it as much as I thought I would. Ningen Fushin, what is it? Related to apparently disillusioned adventurers will save the world or something, right? It started out well. It just turned into kind of weird territory because it like starts fusing people together. I'm like, what?
Okay.
Huh? What the fuck? I don't know. That was weird. But yeah, I'm watching it. It's just a bunch of random anime at this point. You know what? There's another anime called Iceblade Sorcerer Shall Rule the World. That's a bad quality one, honestly.
Is that this season too?
Yeah, it's this season, but it's not isekai. It's actually a genre that I didn't think still existed, which was like the OP protagonist in a high school. I thought that was like over and done with back in like the 2010s or like something like that, right? But
yeah, it's just another power.
Yeah,
power
it's just
MC.
The strong MC who no one really knows about, right? But then he's attending this high school for the magically powered or whatever, and he's looked down upon and stuff, but apparently he's the strongest guy, so
yeah,
that
sounds so basic.
That genre, yeah, it is a basic genre because there's so much of it back in the 2000s, 2010s,
Yeah, it's so basic.
So I was surprised to see something like this still like in this era of like isekai.
Well, it has like a 6.4.
Oh yeah, it's not great. It's I don't know. It's so basic. It's definitely something that anyone could in like fucking middle school could have fucking thought of.
Yeah, because the one that I immediately think about, because it sounds like similar, is Rakudai Kishi no Cavalry.
Yeah, but at least that one was like okay.
It was actually good. Like,
yeah.
I don't know if the fights in the other one are good and are animated well.
Oh no! Honestly, this is like probably the trashiest one I'm like watching right now.
Yeah.
Because it's just so. it's just so basic. There's nothing about it. I guess like the only thing about it would be uh I think you'd appreciate this actually is how uh toned he and his friend are, and that they're buddies because they're toned, right?
Okay.
And they're always expressing like, oh, you have good muscles, and they're always like working out on their free
Oh,
time and stuff.
wow.
They joined like the nature club, which is like a group of just toned fucking like big muscle dudes.
Yeah.
And they had to like show off their muscles to join and stuff. It's like, all right, dude. I think that's something that's probably like the only aspect of it that I was like, all right, cool. Why
Yeah.
not?
Yeah.
It's definitely nice that all the character relationships around this guy are pretty decent. It is a little weird because of course there's always that harem aspect with these things, which it gets annoying. I'm not a huge fan of harem tropes, so that's
Mm.
that's definitely stuff that I usually avoid. This one doesn't go too hard into it, so I'm not gonna worry about it too much.
Yeah.
It is kind of trashy though, just because it's generic.
Real trash.
Yeah. Have you been watching Bofuri?
See, I started and I watched a couple, but honestly, I think maybe because it's been so long since the first season,
Mm-hmm.
I kind of don't care about it anymore.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like the first season, since everything was new and she was
Yeah.
developing all her powers, it was more
Yeah.
interesting.
Yeah.
And now it's just kind of like they're just hanging out because there's no re-intro, there's no secondary training. It's just her like, just some new random levels popped up in the beginning of the season, and then she just goes and like rolls on all of it.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
there's not much development, there's not much conflict, there's not much like new discovery.
I would
Yeah.
agree. I would agree. I have been watching. I've been keeping up a little bit. I don't think I've watched the latest episode or two, maybe.
Yeah.
But it's yeah, it's definitely more the same, right?
Yeah.
And because the first season was more, surprising that it made it more fun. Because it's more the same with this season, it's like okay, there's nothing surprising about it, right? It is just her chilling and like just getting something new, and that's it. I guess you do have to like, if anything, you probably have to change your like you have to like twist your perspective to enjoy it, I guess. But otherwise, that's it. It's all right. I I don't know. Maybe it would have been better to have watched it right after first season,
Yeah,
you know?
probably.
That type of thing. Because then you'll be just on that train and be like, "Oh yeah, she's doing it." Woo!
Yeah.
Whatever. But yeah, it's fine.
Because when did the first
Um,
season come out?
it came out. Oh man, it must have been about a year
Season
or
1. Oh,
more.
2020. Came out 2020.
Holy,
So yeah, it took like 3 years for them to
no
finally
way.
come out with season 2.
That's crazy.
And it's not like they even do anything crazy with season 2. It's just
Yeah,
more same.
I think you know what, the only thing that's really notable is that they actually did put money into the animation for the fight scenes.
Mhm.
Because I do see like a difference in animation once it like cuts to a fight scene and they start like actually like doing
Doing
crazy shit.
stuff.
Yeah, but at the same time, it's not like I care too much. So I'm like, oh yeah, it's cool.
Yeah.
Not necessary, but it's cool. um, yeah. Okay. Here's an anime. I don't know when it released. Because I only watched it recently. because I was just like, maybe I'll go for it because it has high ratings.
Mhm.
Tomodachi Game.
Right.
So this thing, it's another survival game type thing. Um, Basically, a group of friends kind of get stuck into a game where they have to kind of choose between friends and money for each of the
Oh my
games,
god. You
right?
know what? You know what? They have a dumb live action one of this.
Do they?
Yeah, it's so dumb. It looks so dumb.
Do they? Oh
And
my
and
goodness.
I watched a recap of it,
Oh,
because I
really?
just
Yeah,
googled this and I see
yeah,
the mascot. The
yeah,
mascot, they have the mascot in there.
yeah, yeah.
And it's dumb. It's real dumb. Like I'm sure the anime does way better,
Uh,
but if yeah, that live action, it just sounded like the dumbest thing ever. I was just
yeah,
like, this is dumb.
yeah. I think like for me, I was going for. I was rolling in right, and watching episode after episode because it was okay. It was pretty decent. It was just another survival game type thing. They were definitely doing the friends versus money theme, pretty
Yeah.
okay, right? Episode 6 was super wild to me. And I was like, "What is going on?" Because it went to a bunch of plot twists that I wasn't expecting. And then the final like scene of that episode that had like this dude like going up and kissing the other dude. I'm like, oh my god!
Just
I started
random
like,
kiss.
what? I stood up. I was like, oh my god!
Yeah.
It was
Uh,
so random, but at the same time, I was like, oh.
yeah, I guess I'm so surprised like it took that long for this anime to come out
Yeah.
because I think there's two live action movies
Mhm.
and the first movie came out in 2017.
Really?
So,
Wow, that's old, man.
yeah. Or maybe there's just one. I don't know. Maybe there's two, one or two. But yeah, it came out 20 the first one came out 2017. And I'm surprised that even after that they're like, "All right, let's just make the anime now."
Yeah, that is surprising. But hey, I did after I watched the first season of Tomodachi Game, I decided to read it too.
Mhm.
Um, and apparently the first season of Tomodachi Game is only the first 20 chapters of the manga, and I'm like, huh, yeah, like this is a lot shorter than I thought it'd be. But there's only like I think there's only like 80 or 90 chapters in total.
Uh-huh.
So yeah. So if anything, if Tomodachi Game does continue as an anime, it's probably gonna be like 3 or 4 seasons, or maybe
Oh,
three
wow.
seasons. They'll probably condense it.
Yeah.
Um, but I can tell that the manga is probably gonna end within like the next I don't know next year or two. Um, just because like it really feels like it's like the final arc, right?
Uh-huh.
Um, at least to where I stopped or where I read last, right? They were kind of in like this final thing because they've revealed like certain aspects of the mysteries they've been kind of floating around, you know.
Mhm.
So I'm just like, oh, okay, yeah, we're there. I'll be surprised if they continue after like the final arc because it seems like we're in the final stages. So if anything, the anime came out now because the manga's
Oh, the
about to like
manga's ending.
ending, right? Which is probably a decent way to go about it because then um the anime doesn't
Yeah.
have to like wait forever or like catch up or whatever, or like wait forever or like um uh uh you know drag its feet, um while it waits for the manga to end. If it
Yeah.
starts now, then it can just adapt what is there now and end it properly. Hopefully,
Mm.
I don't know, but I do think it was definitely a pretty decent survival series. I can't say anything about the movies.
You should go. You should go look up the live action. I
All
think
right.
there is two, and I think they
Mm-hmm.
made them right after each other because they came out
Mm-hmm.
the same year.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe they just filmed it all at once and just split it into two because it was probably just extra long.
Right.
Um, yeah, just watch a recap, and then like just not knowing anything about the manga or anime, watching this recap, I was like, this seems like really dumb. Where is the horror? It seems like there is no horror.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And then like the mascot, you would think like the creepy boy mascot would do something in the movie.
I would argue this. It's not exactly horror. It's more
Yeah,
psychological thriller.
yeah. I
But
don't
if
know.
the movie is if the movie was advertised as horror, then yeah, that's not correct.
Nah, it's not. Yeah, I guess it's still psychological, but
Mhm.
like
Yeah.
it just seemed
It's,
kind of silly, you know. It's
yeah.
like dumb high school shit.
Yeah. Yeah. It's so I don't want to spoil anything. But
Uh huh.
the main character has a lot to do with everything that goes on with
Okay.
the game and stuff, and it's like, oh, more things keep getting revealed because it's just a lot of like random plot twists that like, oh, this totally changes the way I see this manga type thing.
Yeah.
Um, but at this point, I do expect so like the only thing that is kind of predictable
Mhm.
is the main character is always gonna win.
Yeah, he's
You
always
know,
just gonna be right.
he
He's
he
like,
always finds some type of loophole or always has this backup
yeah,
strategy that will make him win, right?
he's just so
Um,
smart all
yeah.
the
So
time.
like that might be the only detriment to this series,
Yeah.
because like, damn, all right. But at the same time, uh, it's not. I guess you could also say that since you already know he's always gonna win, how does he win, right?
Yeah.
And that might be what would interest some people. But yeah, I thought that was like an, an interesting series that I saw. I don't know when it came out, like maybe the summer or fall. It's probably the summer.
Yeah.
Um, yeah.
I mean that also reminds me of this other live action that's probably a manga too.
hmm
It's called Liar Game.
Oh yeah, yeah, that's a manga. I read that.
Yeah. It's
Uh,
the movie, I think it's a movie too. I know it's a TV series apparently.
mhm.
Liar Game movie. But yeah, I think it was that one where like, the main character, he's just always so smart, you know.
Yeah.
He like
So
he knows the answer to every game. He'll never
yeah,
die.
I read this a while back. But because it went on for so long, I didn't remember a lot of stuff, so I reread it like last year. But I stopped somewhere because I think it was the same issue of why I didn't never finish in the first place. Is it does feel like it drags a little bit, because it's
Yeah.
just like each each of the games this guy plays gets super overcomplicated that I'm like, I don't know
Yeah.
what's going on anymore. you know, it's a lot of like, if I wanted to pay attention to it, I would have to think real hard about like what are they actually trying to do here,
Oh,
and what is the
actually,
meaning of like why this is happening right now? Because I
yeah.
just didn't I like, it was easier to understand it with the simpler games in the beginning, but after a while, they just get even. They try to complicate things even more, and it's like, oh god. So that's probably why I stopped reading it, because it started becoming so heavy with the writing.
Yeah. Actually, it wasn't Liar Game. It's a different like death game for money. It's called
Oh really?
yeah, it's called Death Game Zero or Zero, the bravest money game.
I
And
don't know
yeah,
this.
I was like watching the recap of that, and the fucking main character, he's just so smart. He's like, I figure it out. It's kind of cheesy. Like, I guess the live action's always like cheesy.
Hmm.
I think it's so dumb too, cause like you get some games you have to do with like multiple people, and then like
Yeah.
the friends are like, oh, let's get this game. We just gotta beat this game, and then
Hmm.
we'll get the money.
Right. Yeah.
But then it's like, oh, it's one of the highest difficulty games, and then when they actually go in, the game starts. And then the friend is like, I don't know what to do. We're gonna die. And
Oh
then the main
no.
character has to like big brain it, and he's like, "Oh, do this, blah blah blah."
I
Yeah,
think that's what a lot of survival games like end up being. It's just that,
yeah, it's just
um,
dumb.
which is yeah, it's kind of unfortunate sometimes because it's just like it's fallen into this genre trope, right? It's just the genre trope at this point, right? It's just
Yeah,
the main character always being the smart one and trying to figure things out. But that's just the nature of this genre, I think. Um, yeah, it is what it is. Uh, let's see. So,
yeah,
uh, I want to talk about two anime that I rewatched. Uh, that I think are just still really good. Definitely at least top 10. You know, at least for me. First is 86, which I know
oh
that you
yeah. You
probably
rewatched 86.
yeah yeah I rewatched 86 and I enjoyed it. So I think the only problem with 86 is like there's nothing that really surprised me in a in a rewatch, right?
Yeah,
Like in comparison to something like One Piece, which has a lot of like details that oh you might have missed this because it wasn't relevant at that point, but it became relevant later on. Because
mm-hmm.
I heard this described in someone's One Piece video where you know it's like you watch you drop something in a puddle, right? It makes small ripples in the
Uh-huh.
beginning, but then
Oh
it's
yeah.
larger ripples at the end, like at as it vibrates through, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that's kind of how One Piece is like little Easter eggs and shit like at work, right? Like they, present a tidbit of this information you think is irrelevant, right? And then it becomes super important later on, type stuff, right?
Yeah.
Uh, 86 unfortunately doesn't have that. I think it's definitely very more straight
Really
up,
straightforward.
very very straightforward. However, it's done very well, very high quality.
Mm-hmm.
And I do really like how they direct each episode because it does. It might be annoying to some viewers, I think, where they jump from this side of things, right, to the other side of things, and they're kind of running at the same time, technically, right? But it's just like like we see the majors side of things first or something like that, right? And that's the first half of the episode, and then we jump to um the 86's side, and we restart from that beginning of like the timeline, right? Up to the point where we left off with the major, right?
Yeah.
So that might be annoying to some viewers, but I actually really like how that's directed. I think it's done pretty well, and um, it really makes a difference, especially once we hit that point it uh, where we don't do that anymore, and we're solely looking at Shin's perspective for like the latter half of the series, right? Um, but yeah, it's still really really good in my opinion. I think it's pretty much up there in my top
Just
10. I
solid.
don't. It's
Solid
just it's
anime.
super solid. It's so solid.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
I don't think I
It
ever finished the last couple episodes.
really. Oh,
Yeah, because I was just like, all right, I'm
yeah.
good.
Yeah. I would recommend rewatching if you ever do. Right.
What's the second one? I think I'll just watch the last couple that I missed. I don't know. We'll see.
If you watch the last couple, I don't think it'll have as good of an impact,
That's
right? Because
fine.
oh, okay.
It's okay.
All right.
It's okay. I don't have time to watch 22, 24 episodes again.
Dude, I
God,
watched that in a day.
hella long,
I was watching during work. I was like
hella long.
it was really good. Anyways, my second one is Kono Oto Tomare. Uh let me see if there's an English translation for that. Kono Oto Tomare. Uh, so I watched this a while ago. Stop this sound, is it? I don't know. Kono Oto Tomare Sounds of Life? Maybe.
Uh huh.
Um so it's oh man. It's a series about koto, right? Which is like a Japanese instrument. Um how do I even describe it? It's just like a giant bridge, like a bridge of a guitar, but it's just a bridge, right?
Yeah.
With the strings and like movable what is it? Movable bridge parts or whatever, I guess. And then you're kind of pushing against a string and then strumming with like a thing. Um, but yeah, it's a series about about kotos, right?
Mhm.
And let's see, it's about a koto club in high school, right? And they're going to try to do national, like go for nationals, right? But a lot of them are like really like newbies and stuff like that, and then others have more of a struggle with the koto and stuff like that. But the reason why I rewatched this, and the reason why that I think it's still really fucking good, even though like the first season isn't like highly rated. I think the first season's like 7.9 on my anime list. If you look at the second season, it's like 8 point something, right?
Uh huh.
8.43. Okay. Uh, I think the reason why it's low rated in the first season is because it's more introductory and people underestimate it, right? They underestimate it. They think, oh, this is just some musical club thing with, not like nothing too fancy. It's just okay, right?
Yeah.
Uh, Second season though, it like really, really dives deeper in, and it's fantastic, right? It's fantastic in my opinion. Um, it does so well with the characters and their dynamics, you
Mhm.
know. Um, and there's surprisingly like some really decent romance going on because like the way they develop some of these characters, you get
Mhm.
hints of it, you know, get nice hints of like what might happen, the potential, and as we keep going with the series, it develops more and becomes more um it's almost reachable. Like these things will happen. You can see it happening. It's just it's very nice. Um, but yeah, the characters and their relationships are just so well done.
Uh huh.
Um, their backstories, honestly, it makes you feel for a lot of these people. Um, Even if it's just kind of mundane,
Yeah.
it it really feels relatable sometimes. Um, Especially like struggles for some of the side characters too. It's like wow, like
Yeah.
it's a nice focus. Like they have a
So this
good
has
they
good writing.
it's just good writing. It's good writing, dude. It's good
Yeah.
writing. And then when they're doing their like final final piece, let's say, yeah, final performance of the season. It was it felt so magical in my opinion.
Mhm.
Just because you watch the whole series and it ends at that final performance for the second season, and it really culminates well. It culminates well,
Mhm.
right? It stacks up and it does so. I don't know. It's just good. It's just really good. I really enjoyed it. It's definitely up there in top 10 because I think they have really good writing for characters and character relationships here.
Mhm.
And that's what it's about. It's about their relationships. It's about
Yeah. I
their
mean,
struggles.
usually if it doesn't have like a crazy premise, they have to make the characters good.
Oh yeah.
Because
Oh
if the
yeah.
characters aren't good,
Yeah.
then no one's gonna freaking care.
Yeah.
Who
I
cares, you know?
it's true. I just think that this thing is like underrated. It's under people's like no one. It's not on anyone's radar type of thing,
Yeah.
right?
I mean, there's a
It,
lot of anime that just comes out, and unless you follow the whole season
yeah.
of releases, you're never gonna know about it.
Yeah. Yeah. So definitely. That kind of goes into my issue with the industry, which is it's so saturated with anime,
Yeah.
which is unfortunate that the only standouts are the ones that look like good quality, right? And not
Yeah.
not like their premise, but more of their art and animation style, right? Um, so the ones that get a lot of fucking money are the ones that are gonna get popular, right? At
Mhm.
least in my opinion. And Kono Oto Tamare, uh, I don't think it got a lot of money for its budget. I think it got enough to be like okay to look at and like visually be fine. Uh, musically great. Oh yeah, I love it. I love the soundtrack, but otherwise that's it. Uh, and I think that's why it goes under people's radar because it's like, well, maybe it's also because of that premise because it's just kind of a
Yeah,
club
really
club anime,
niche.
high school club anime,
Mhm.
really niche, and it's not like it has insane animation like what or like insane quality of animation like
Yeah, like the big name animes.
oh, what is it called? Your Lie in April,
Oh yeah.
because Your Lie in April is also like a new music based
You know,
anime, right?
I might have to rewatch it,
Mhm.
but I think Your Lie in April was probably way too overrated.
I don't know. I have no idea.
People,
I don't
yeah.
remember too much. I do remember it being pretty sad at the end, but
Yeah.
unfortunately I wasn't very like emotionally like uh
Like I think it was just cuz they played on the
yeah
emotion.
yeah
But I feel like man, I think it might have just been a little bit too hyped up, too overrated.
it could definitely be.
Cause
I'm looking it up right
yeah,
now. It has an 8.65, so uh oh, I rated this as a 10, so it probably does have, it's probably good, it's probably great. It- but
yeah, I don't know.
it probably is overhyped, if
It's
anything.
probably too much.
Yeah.
Cause I think I remember watching it, and yeah, it was really good,
Mhm.
but I did kind of feel like it might have been a little overrated because everyone at the time was talking about it. So
Mhm.
many people loved it. They're like, "Oh my god, Your Lie in April is so good. It's
Oh
so
yeah, I watched this. I
sad."
watched this in 2015. I'm like, oh, shit, dude.
Oh yeah, it's kind of old, huh? Well,
Goddamn.
it doesn't seem it was that old, but I guess it's
Yeah.
old.
I will say it's definitely one of the more notable music-based ones, if anything. right?
I mean, if we're talking about music, you should watch Bocchi the Rock. Bocchi the Rock is
I
good. I love it.
I haven't finished it yet, but I can tell you that it's basically the modern day K-On, you know.
Bocchi the Rock is good.
But it's just different vibes in general.
It's
And
good.
yeah, yeah, it's funny. It's enjoyable. I haven't gone to the point where it's like. I guess I'm waiting for that point where it gets musically like insane. If it ever does, I don't know if it does.
It's good. It's a good anime. You should
Yeah,
just keep watching it.
yeah. Because I really want that moment where they come out with a banger, you know.
Well, you gotta watch and find
like a
out.
banger song, you know.
Yeah, watch and
So
find out.
yeah, I will. Now the talking about music related anime or manga series, okay. So, this is one that I was recommended by a YouTube video. And honestly, I do not have regrets reading this because it's fantastic. I was like, holy crap!
Mm-hmm.
I really wish it has a series. It would have like an anime
An
series,
anime,
but
yeah.
according to the video that I watched, they don't expect it to have an anime adaptation, and I think for good reason because it makes sense that they probably wouldn't make an anime adaptation of this. It's called the Shiori Experience, right? Um, so I'm reading this right now, and it's basically about a high school teacher, English high school teacher named Shiori, who is kind of living this dull life. She used to play the guitar back in high school, but because her older brother was like a piece of shit, kind of uh, was it kind of ran away from Japan because he had a bunch of loans due to trying to start his like rock band like thing, right?
Yeah.
So she stopped playing the guitar because of that, because her father really disapproves of what happened with rock related shit, right? And she became an adult high school teacher, right? Suddenly she meets the ghost of Jimi Hendrix.
What the hell?
Yeah,
Okay.
Jimi Hendrix, right? Who is able to possess her and
Okay.
play the guitar like you know, like really pro, right? Really professionally. Uh and warns her that uh because this is her 27th year, her 27th like birthday, right? Uh
Yeah.
by the end of her 27th or year or whatever, right? If she doesn't become a legend, she will die.
What?
So it's so weird because first the number 27 is based off of the 27 Club. If you ever heard of that,
No,
which
I
is
have never heard of it.
the 27 Club is basically a group of musical artists that have died at 27, right?
Oh.
Which includes Jimi Hendrix, Kurt Cobain, and some other legendary musical artists, right? They all kind of died at 27, which is why that's like a thing in the musical industry where like, oh, you know, you if you're not like a legend by 27, you'll die or something. I don't know. It's some stupid thing like that, right?
Yeah, some superstition.
Yeah, some superstition, right? So that's why it's based on 27 here. But you know, apparently her older brother contracted like a crossroad like demon or like tried to contact fucking hell or something to be super famous, but it ended up going to his little sister in Japan.
Okay.
Anyways, her meeting with Jimi Hendrix, or her possession, or Jimi Hendrix possession of her, makes her remember how great guitar was. And so she starts a light music club in high school and
Uh-huh.
gathers. So now it becomes School of Rock here, right? She gathers
Yeah, all
all
these
the
kids to
students.
play music
Yeah,
with her and
yeah,
whatever.
all these delinquent students, or like all these like random students, honestly, just super random, like out of nowhere students. Uh, gets
Yeah.
them together and starts going hard,
Oh my god.
going so hard
So
into the
hard.
rock, and I was like, damn, I kind of want to watch. Like, this is like really cool.
Yeah.
um, uh, and yeah, there's just it just kind of goes from there, right?
It's a little
And
silly, huh?
it's silly and it's intense. I think there's a lot of tension that happens. There's a lot of good backstories for the kids and stuff too.
Yeah.
Um, a lot of struggles, right? They about how they live their lives from then. Rock is like freeing them in a sense. you know, um,
Jimi Hendrix is just chilling.
Jimi
He just
Hendrix is just chilling,
he's just
dude.
chilling inside and he pops out every once in a while.
Yeah, and apparently that's gonna be part of a bigger plot line
That's so dumb. Oh my god.
cause fucking uh there are other people who have done the crossroad contract and have other spirits like haunting, like what was it, possessing them, right?
Yeah. But is it
So
like
they
to help them? To try and help them be a legend?
yeah, help them be a legend, but also
Because they
like
don't want them to get like their spirit taken, right? Their soul
yeah,
eaten
yeah.
up by
So
the music demon.
yeah, the contract is right, like um you are given a spirit that will help you become a legend by 27. If you are not a legend by 27, then you die,
Oh,
kind
okay.
of thing, right? And the spirits are all 27, or people who died at 27, right?
Okay.
Um, so uh, they actually do meet the contractor for Kurt Cobain or whatever, and it was kind of awesome. It was like Jimi Hendrix and Kurt Cobain like playing together, basically,
Yeah.
right? And it's like, oh man,
Yeah. It seems
it's a
like a
really
funny
yeah, yeah.
funny
It's
anime, funny manga.
it is, and it not only funny but intense in my opinion, super
Mm-hmm.
intense. Like, whoa, they go so fucking hard. It reminds me of like other rock band type manga like Beck or something,
Yeah.
Um, and yeah, I think I really enjoyed it. I really really enjoyed it. I just don't think they'll ever make an anime adaptation. Because the reason is like, they would have to use a lot of copyrighted music, I think. And they're using names of
Yeah, famous people.
famous people who have died. And that might cause some issues too. So, if they ever are able to make this, they would have to have a lot of um legal action to legal
Yeah.
preparation, I guess, right? In
Yeah.
order to be able to show it, right? Uh, but good series,
Good
fantastic.
series.
I really like this one. Yeah, it's so good. uh,
Yeah.
uh, yeah, I don't know.
Another one to read.
Yeah, definitely recommended to you guys.
Mm-hmm.
Take a read, take a gander.
Take a
Very
read.
nice. Um,
Yeah.
yeah,
So
but
one anime I finished
mhm,
I think from last season
mhm.
was freaking More Than a Married Couple But Not Lovers.
Oh yes, I think you told me you watched that. Yeah.
Trash.
Trash?
Trash.
Oh no!
Trash. Trash anime. If you like
Is
this
it?
anime, what's wrong with you?
Wow! Hey,
It's
hey, we're
okay.
not trying to be rude to the
Okay,
viewers, all
it's
right?
okay. It's a okay anime, all right?
All right.
Like the color art is like different. It's very high contrast, very like colorful.
Mhm.
So, I mean, it's slightly stylized, but not so much. I mean, do you know the story?
I don't. I never tried to
Okay,
take a
so
look at it. I just
yeah.
seen like, oh,
So
that's there.
the basic story, and it's like right off the bat, you're gonna be like, what? The basic story is like they're all in a school, and the school has a project where they pair the male and females together into couples, and they make them live in like a shared dorm and pretend to be married couple because it's like they want them to experience and like figure out how to make marriage work, right? So like
Okay.
right off the bat, it's like what the hell kind of school is this? All right. What the hell kind of school allows like a boy and a girl to live together? Like they have different rooms, but
I mean,
you'll yeah,
yeah.
in the anime, there's like etchy stuff happens, okay?
Oh God.
Etchy stuff
Yeah.
happens
Of course
anyways.
there is. Always.
And it's
Always.
like it's so silly. I didn't even question it because I was like, all right, you know what? I'm not here to question like the premise. I'm just here to
Right.
see what
Yeah.
happens. All
It's
right.
just an absurd premise. Whatever. It's fine.
Yeah, the main character, a little trashy boy. He's bad. He's okay. He's bad.
He's bad. He's okay. He's
Yeah,
bad.
it's like a story that you heard. He freaking, he gets paired up with some gyaru girl, and obviously he doesn't want to be with her. He wants to be with his childhood friend that he loves since whatever.
Sure.
But then him and the gyaru girl are like actually hitting it off. And then the gyaru girl like develops feelings for him, but she's not sure because she actually likes the popular guy who's
Oh my
paired
God.
with the childhood friend.
Oh my God.
So the whole goal of it is like, oh, you have to get an A rank. Once you get A rank, you can switch partners with anybody. So they're like, okay, we'll just deal with it. We'll get A rank and then we'll switch. And then you'll get with the popular guy and I'll get with my childhood friend. And then it'll be Gucci, you know? All right.
Okay.
So, yeah. So childhood friend, she's trash. Okay. She has no balls. She doesn't she likes the main character, but she doesn't do crap about it.
Oh. Okay.
And like she tries to do crap about it, but she's still like, like the little quiet, shy, like, oh, I don't know, I don't want to, I don't know if he likes me or not. Oh,
Isn't that the charm?
it's so trash. And then the main guy character is like, he goes so far with the gyaru girl because like they kind of
right.
egg each other on. Like she eggs him
Right.
on, and then like,
Right.
oh,
Yeah.
some stuff happens. Oh. And then when he gets the chances to talk to his childhood friend, he's like, oh, I don't, yeah, I don't know, hello. It's so bad. And then I can't believe I watched 12 episodes, and there's still gonna be another season
Is it really?
because
Well,
it ended,
mean, it's
and
to
I
be
was
expected.
like, yeah, I thought he was gonna make a choice because it seemed like they're gonna at the end he was gonna make some kind of choice, hopefully. But then at the end, it's kind of like nothing really happened. Nothing really happened at the end,
Man,
and it's
that's
like,
unfortunate.
yeah, it's such a weird show, such an odd show to me because like obviously the best part of the show is the Gyaru girl because she's actually has like personality. The main character guy is kind of bland and kind of like he got no balls either. But sometimes when he's with the Gyaru girl, it's like, okay, just get with her. You obviously got stuff going on. The childhood friend, she's trash because she's so plain and she doesn't like try. And then there's a male like kind of comedy relief character to the main guy character.
Right.
Like he's only slightly funny, but then at the same time he like gets in the way too.
So
he
it sounds like nothing fucking happens in this
Yeah.
series.
It's more like just teasing between him and the Gyaru girl, right?
I feel like that's like a lot of rom-coms, to be honest. They just tease you
Right.
for
But
like
then
a while.
so what does this have? What does this have for rating? So it's 7.6 rating on my anime,
Okay.
which is actually like higher than I thought. What's 98,000 users, okay? So that's a lot of people.
Mhm.
Now, I heard Tomo-chan is a girl was actually really good or like pretty good, right? But apparently it has the same rating but only a third of the viewers. So, I don't know why. Like it seems like it would be a more interesting
premise.
anime. Yeah, even though it's
It,
a
it,
very
it,
simple too.
it might just be the style, right? The stylistically. Let me look at the
No,
styles of these animes.
Tomo-chan is like a real basic style, but if you look at Married Couple, it's more stylized.
Yeah, and that's probably what attracts people, if
Oh yeah.
anything. Because
Yeah,
like
I don't know. I feel like
that
maybe
it
the manga
they
is better.
they probably put more money into Married Couple to make it look adapted well. Uh,
Yeah.
Married Couple, what's it called? Married Couple.
More than a married couple, less than lovers, or but
More.
not lovers.
Let me look at some screenshots of this. All right. Let me judge. Oh man, yeah, it's so much different, right?
Yeah.
Tomo-chan looks definitely like
It's like a
generic
basic.
style like anime, right?
Yeah.
Uh, Literally from the screenshots of Married Couple, it pops out a lot more. It's so much more flashier, in
Yeah,
my
it's very
opinion.
flashy.
Yeah,
So I think
it has like this color tone that's so much different. Mhm.
yeah, so I think it's popular because of the style, but
Yeah,
also because the Akari is like the best character in there because she has like an actual personality
the
and she's
Gyaru,
like
right?
yeah,
Yeah,
she's like
yeah.
she wants to get with the
I think
guy, but then she's not
yeah,
sure.
I think Gyarus are just kind of this like popular trend in Japanese anime, versus a tomboy, which is probably not,
Yeah.
Tomo-chan, yeah.
But I feel like
But honestly, the tomboy premise seems more interesting in my opinion.
yeah.
Just because Gyarus are, overdone.
Yeah, I think there's probably a lot more comedy in Tomo-chan.
Yeah,
Um, and I think Married Couple is good just because there's like some etchy scenes and
yeah.
some like, when they get real close, you're like, oh damn, here we go.
But
And
it doesn't
then and
happen.
then like it always stops like a step or two short,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah,
Where it's like, oh, she's like practically throwing herself at you, and
yeah,
like emotionally too. But then he's like, well, it's just for the it's just for the project, or
yeah.
that's just her, she's just messing with me.
She's just messing with
She's
me.
just messing with me,
It's just
she
the
call
MC being like dense but like stupid. Like it's
yeah.
just so I don't know. It's
Well,
just so
she does like mess with him, but at the same time it's like, oh yeah, I mean she knows that he
yeah,
likes the other girl,
yeah.
so they try to like help each other, but it is also obvious that she's getting feelings for him because they spend so much time together.
It's always the trouble with these rom coms. To be honest, look, it's just always the case.
Yeah, so
Um, yeah, and then Tomo-chan, I actually did read a while back. I don't remember a lot. I do remember it was really funny.
hmm
So,
yeah, it's probably
uh,
good comedy.
I'll probably watch it, Tomo-chan, sometime when I feel like I should watch a comedy. I don't know about Married Couple. Uh, to be honest, I'm like kind of uh, uh, I don't know. I just don't feel like I want to watch something so poppy looking. Like the colors just pop out like so fucking hard.
Yeah,
It's
I
very
mean
neon. Um,
you get used to it.
yeah. I don't know. Maybe I'll watch it. I if anything, did I? I might have watched a clip of it. Probably. It looked like it was high quality animation. So if I remember correctly, uh,
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm not like I don't. I really like watching like really niche things. If something's like super popular and super like mainstream, like I hear about a lot, then I usually try to avoid it. You know,
Yeah.
that's my thing. Which is a bad habit in my opinion. Because it'd just be better if I just watch it. Um, but the reason why I like watching such niche series and stuff is like it's really nice to kind of not judge it the way society would judge it too much, right? I there's no opinions about it that I would have heard, so I can just judge it myself. And if it's like a hidden gem, then oh man, that's great. If it's okay or trashy, then I can judge that for myself, right? Um,
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like you could probably skip this one. You can
Married
skip
couple.
it. You would just watch it just for the interaction with the main girl and the main character. Everything else is real basic. They
Yeah.
throw there's one curveball they throw in there. It
Oh,
just comes out
curveball.
of nowhere. Okay,
Okay.
so like, so we find out like the popular guy. So we don't really know anything about the popular guy. He kind of just takes a back seat,
Oh, really?
and they barely interact with him.
Hmm.
I mean, he just shows up.
Sure.
But then I guess it's like a semi spoiler, but also I don't know where they're gonna go with it because he's just so not present.
Uh-huh.
Maybe he'll be present in season 2,
Yeah.
but they kind of do a flashback where they tell us through the flashback he's in love with his brother's wife. And and you know how they show this? You know how they show this? They show this by showing a partial sex scene of him peeking on his brother and his wife.
Oh,
And I'm
wh-
like, where did this come from?
what?
Wait,
What the
what?
fuck? Why does anime have to like go so
It's so
hard
weird.
sometimes? They have
'Cause
to
like,
be like,
oh
oh, we gotta
man,
go real extreme here. We gotta make sure this guy becomes like a peeping
you
tom.
know, I know, cause it's like it doesn't even say etchy, but there is like there's etchy,
Yeah.
but then I didn't expect them to just throw that in there out of nowhere, right?
That does sound like a real huge curveball out
It's
of
such
nowhere.
a crazy curveball. They were just talking, and then he was like, he kind of says a cryptic thing about who he loves, and then they go to the flashback of him like at
That's
the door, and the
yeah,
door is cracked open, and then you
yeah.
see his brother apparently and his wife having sex.
It does. Yeah, I don't see. Okay, that's one thing I get annoyed about some anime. All right, this is like some series is like they like to put things in, like they like to throw these curveballs that are shocking just for the hell of it, right? If there was actual purpose to the thing to for the series itself, right? Like if there's actual meaning behind it, then sure. But if you're
Yeah,
just gonna put in a shocking scene for no reason besides the shock value, then I don't know. I'm not a huge fan of that. In this case, they could have just shown like the brother and his wife, and that's it. They didn't have to do
yeah.
a sex scene, but
I
they
mean,
specifically
that'll
made a
get it.
sex scene for the fucking shock value. No,
Yeah,
at
that'll
least
get you.
at least that's uh what it seems like, and that seems very shallow to me, and that makes me like really not want to watch it. But
Yeah. That's why I feel like maybe the manga's better because
mhm.
maybe they can explore the other characters a bit more rather
maybe
than
yeah, maybe it's more deeper.
yeah, because
If
maybe they
anything.
have more interactions with the guy
Mhm.
because they really didn't interact with him that
Okay.
much. He always
Yeah.
just comes
Yeah.
out of nowhere, but it just seems like he's a popular guy. He doesn't seem like big-headed about it, and he's just like chilling all the time.
Yeah. Yeah.
So you don't really know anything about him. And then they just throw in, "Oh, I'm in love with my brother's wife."
Yeah. Yeah. It's like, that's so weird. It's so weird. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know. Talking about shocking scenes and stuff like that. Uh, One example would be like Goblin Slayer, which
Oh
I
yeah.
actually do like Goblin Slayer. Like after
Yeah.
that scene in the first episode, I was kind of like iffy about it because I was like, the shock value. Do they really want to do this right now? But it kind of makes sense for what the series is because goblins are brutal and they're shown doing really brutal shit. So
Yeah.
whatever, right? It does fit for. It is in line with what the story wants. I could do without that scene a little bit, just because like they were just going for it, and I was like, uh,
Yeah.
okay, why not? But yeah, that was not definitely not something that hooked me. I was more hooked on the RPG style. Like it was like more serious take on the RPG style. right?
Yeah.
And I like that, right? I really like the series take on that, right? Um, and yeah, so that's just my opinion on shock value scenes. Is like if you're putting it in there, hopefully it aligns well with the type of series it is. Uh, but mostly doesn't have to be there, you know.
Yeah.
Unless it has real purpose. That it defines you know uh like a character's backstory or like tragic like personality or whatever, you know. For example, Berserk, you know. Uh there was a lot of like crazy scenes in that. Arguably the one scene that was kind of like unnecessary in my opinion was like in the beginning where he kind of started, I don't know, he was like having sex with a girl and then it turned into a demon or something. I didn't know what was going on with that. I felt like there was no
Yeah.
reason for that. Like, why is he fucking this
It's
demon?
funny.
It's funny,
It's
sure,
funny.
but I was like, what? Now,
Sometimes you just gotta have sex with a demon.
I guess so. Now, in comparison, to later on, like in the Golden Age arc or whatever, where we find find out his backstory and see that his like lover got, you know, messed up by the demons and stuff. Now that makes sense to me. You know, that's acceptable to me. I was like, this is very shocking, but at the same time, this is very like this is why fucking Guts is like how he is. You know, this is why. um, so you know, stuff like that. Like these series needs to learn how to build up to those shock scenes to make them make sense rather than them, you know, being thrown in there and just being like there to be like, hey, we're
Yeah.
edgy, you know? Yeah. It
Yeah.
just always feels slapped in when if it's a shocking scene, maybe you should put more value in it, you know? Not arbitrarily just kind of put it in there to be like, yeah, you know, this is real casual, you know,
It
like
is casual.
yeah. Well, it
It's because
shouldn't.
that's how the whole world is. That's
Yeah,
why.
I
I
don't know.
mean, in
It's just
Goblin
weird.
Slayer, yeah, it just sets the tone. It sets the tone for the
It
whole
sets the tone.
series.
It does. It
Because
does.
at least in Berserk, it's that level the whole way, you know. And I know in Goblin Slayer, I haven't caught up, but I know, you know, the beginning scene. And then there's also another scene which I think they showed in the anime too, where they strap like the humans to the planks and then use them as shields.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, but I think besides those two major scenes, I don't really remember
There was
them
also
doing more.
the scenes with like the elves, because they like they captured the elves or something,
Uh,
and then the Goblin Slayer and his team kind of goes in and starts killing a bunch of them,
yeah. Okay.
and save
Well,
the elves and stuff. But otherwise, yeah, that's basically it.
yeah, it's just to set the tone, you know, because
Yeah,
it's like,
yeah,
oh,
yeah,
they're in the village and they're just chilling at the guild house and they're having fun, but then you know you got to remember like the monsters actually matter, you
yeah,
know,
yeah.
and they're not
I
just like fodder.
right. It's true. It is true. Oh,
Cause what is
they
that?
also mentioned like was it the Saint lady, the one with like the blindfold or whatever? Uh,
Yeah.
she got messed up by goblins when she was like
Oh
a young
yeah.
adventurer or something.
Yeah, and then she
Um,
became
yeah,
whatever she is now.
yeah. It's like she had like the scars for it or something. I don't know. Uh, yeah. So they mentioned it throughout, which you know it makes sense. So that's why like that first scene does make sense for the series. It's just I'm not a huge fan of it. I just
Mhm.
kind of wish they build up to it a little bit more.
Yeah.
That type of thing. Besides, like, because I don't like it because they do it for the hook. It just doesn't. It's not a hook for me. You know, it's
Yeah.
not really a hook for me because it's not. If it's not something that's developed well, then it's like, oh, you're just hooking me for no reason. You're trying to hook me for no reason. I don't feel any reason to be hooked here, right? I need something to be developed well before that happens. Um,
Yeah.
but that's just my preferences. I can definitely see why people like get hooked immediately. Like, oh yeah, this shit's crazy, you know.
Shit's
uh,
crazy, dude.
this shit's
Yeah, it's just like
crazy.
opening with an action scene, but instead
Yeah,
of action, it's just like
yeah.
shock.
And usually, action like opening with an action scene, even then, it doesn't hook me that much. You're like, oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
And that's it for me, right? If they don't have anything deeper, then am I going to continue? I don't know. I don't know. You know, I really like the series that likes to surprise me like further in. Not like try to do it immediately, just try to attract me immediately. No, I can't do that. I need to get to know you on the third date. That type of thing. Anyways, uh, is there anything else you want to talk about? We've been going on for a while, dog.
Yeah, that's a long one. I knew it was gonna be long because like there's just a lot. There's
Yeah,
just a lot of anime.
yeah.
I mean, we could talk about more, but I think that's good for now. Yeah.
All right. Well, sounds good. I
Yeah.
guess we close out.
So yeah, just let us know what anime you guys were watching or manga you're reading. If you've watched or read any of the stuff we mentioned, I don't know. We'll see. We'll probably make another one because there's still a lot. There's always too much anime.
Yeah, it's heavily saturated.
Mm-hmm. All right.
Yeah, we'll see.
We'll see. We'll see. Thanks for listening. Make sure to like the video and subscribe if you haven't. We'll see you guys next time. Bye bye.
Take care.